welcome to another 31 Days of Horror. Kind of in between Toronto After Dark screenings, managed to pick up another movie here. James is over here sleeping, so gotta keep it a little quiet. But what did we check out? Well, what did I check out? Because it's just me. It's Battledogs. Yes, we went to the Asylum to check out essentially a zombie virus movie, but instead of zombies, it's werewolves. Yes, it's a werewolf virus contagion outbreak movie. Somebody infected with a werewolf virus turns into a werewolf at an airport, bites a bunch of people, they turn into werewolves. The army is called in to contain the situation, and we get different factions. We get one who's looking for a cure, one who wants the werewolves as a weapon, and the president at the top constantly trying to figure out what's going on and who to believe, and of course werewolves killing people all over the place. Yeah, the film is from 2013. It is from the Asylum. Those guys, those mock, I don't know what you call them. You know, Hollywood type films. They make their own versions of them to kind of, put on store shelves and hope that, while that movie is in theaters, they will steal some of that thunder and get you to buy their stuff. This doesn't really seem to be that case, though. I don't know of anything that Battledogs would go to. I think this is just one of their things. So, the film is directed by Alexander Yellen. Alexander Yellen. Now, the name didn't sound familiar to me, and he hasn't really directed much of anything. This is his first film. He then eventually went on to do that Finders Keepers TV movie, and then some of Z Nation. So, stayed within the Asylum there. He's done work on things like Snakes on a Plane and stuff, but not as a director. The film is written by Shane Van Dyke. Shane Van Dyke, yes. Shane Van Dyke. He's worked on he's worked on all sorts of stuff from the Asylum, but you may know his work in the Chernobyl Diaries from 2012, prior to this. So, yeah. Not exactly the most prolific talents, but that's the way the Asylum works. The film has a military doctor, Major Brian Hoffman, who is one of the ones who's on the side of finding the cure, and he's played by Craig Sheffer. Now, you may not recognize the name right off the bat, but you're gonna know the face. Whether you look at A River Runs Through It or some kind of wonderful, it's up to you what movie. The guy's done so many different things, from Battledogs. He's done a lot of that. I'll admit, he's done most of his repertoire is a lot of low budget type stuff, like Badass, with the Trejo, and such. He's done some television. If you've seen Dracula 2 Ascension, he played the Lowell character in that. But he's also done big films. Not as many, though. In fact, most of those were early in his career, and then for some reason he kind of went downhill from there. But genre fans are going to probably recognize him from something like Hellraiser Inferno, where he played Detective Joseph Thorne. He was like a main character in that. Or, if you're like me, you love this film, and he is essentially the main character in it, and we're talking Nightbreed. Yes, Boone / Cabal himself, That's who we're talking about here. It's interesting that he ended up going back to, the Hellraiser, went to the Hellraiser franchise, stayed within Clive Barker's work, but yeah, he plays we'll say the good guy. The the president is played by Dennis Haysbert. Yes. Another one of those guys, you may not know his name, but you're going to know his face, whether it's from Heat, where he played Donald Breeden, Major League, or heck, any number of other things. But I think most people are going to know him from his recurring role on 24, the television series 24, where he played the president again. Typecasting much? Who else here? A CDC doctor. Dr. Ellen Gordon was played by Kate Vernon. Now, Kate Vernon is... well, she may not be somebody who you recognize right off the bat. I knew her face, but I didn't really know who she was or where it was from until I looked her up, and then I realized, okay, she was, she played Sophia in Malcolm X. She was Benny in Pretty in Pink. Could have been either of those places that I saw her from, but no, I'm thinking genre work. Where do I know her in the genre? Battlestar Galactica. I've watched the series how many times? Yes, Ellen Teague is yeah, I should have known. We got Donna Voorhees, who is the patient zero, the first werewolf, played by Ariana Richards. Now, you may not know that name, but you'll know the role she was from. Yes, she is all grown up. And whether you know her as Kathy from Space Invaders, or you know her from Lex from Jurassic Park and the Lost World Jurassic Park. Yeah, little girl, Jurassic Park, she's now a big girl, all grown up. Or maybe you know her as Mindy from the Tremors series. Yes. Wow. I guess the Tremors series really kind of killed her career or something, because, yeah, she ended up in Battledogs. That's too bad. Oh, wait. Oh, I said Dennis Haysbert was the president. Dennis Haysbert wasn't the president. Dennis Haysbert was the general. He was the bad general. So, yeah. Yeah. Scratch all I said that about, Dennis Haysbert being the president. He was the general. I just got that picture 24 in my head, and that's why I got that confused. No, he was the general. He had also played a general before. But, yeah, in this film, he's playing another general, not the president. The president is played by Bill Duke. Bill Duke. Again, you may know him as Cook from Commando, maybe Chief Hinges from Exit Wounds, or more recently from Mandy, Carruthers. But for me, he will always be Mac. He will always be Mac from The Predator. Not The Predator, from Predator. God, it's such a small little role, but I don't know, it always stayed with me. Always stayed. Well, I've watched Predator like a billion times, so it's understandable. Other people in this film, there's a young guy named Benjamin James who plays a young soldier who's kind of eager to soldier on, if you will, and does a lot of bad stuff. We get Ernie Hudson. Yes, the Ernie Ghostbusters Hudson plays head of security at the airport. And then finally, a man who I love. I love him as an actor. I wish he would be given more prominent roles. Wes Studi, who plays kind of like the head soldier guy who's doing bad things and mostly just taking orders. Whether you know him as Sphinx from Mystery Men, Hanover from Deep Rising for all you genre fans out there, Casals from Heat. Sure. For me, again, this is one of those things. I've watched this. It's one of my favorite films. he will always be Magua from The Last of the Mohicans. Yeah, I honestly, I love him as an actor. I love him in that film. I love that film, and I've enjoyed him ever since then. I just wish. I mean, the guy's been in so much stuff, but still, I kind of wish he would have more leading roles. I know he's not really a lead actor. He isn't, but I don't know. I kind of wish there were more lower budget type films where he was the lead actor. Got the baby monitor on over here. I was wondering what that noise was. Yeah, so this film, it's from the Asylum. So, yeah, it's kind of cheesy. Dialogue isn't that great. The film isn't that great. It's one of those things where perhaps it's from budget, perhaps not. I don't know. I think most of it comes down to the directing and the writing. If you don't pay for good directing and writing, and you're not going to get good directing and writing, you can fill it in with whatever you want, but the story is going to be what it is. The film's going to end up being what it is. It doesn't matter how many great actors you throw in there. It's talented actors. You can only do so much. That being said, this is one of the better Asylum films I've ever seen. It's one of their later films, so they have, well, not one of their later films, but further on in the studio's lifespan, so they have access to a lot more CG models, and it shows. They use a lot of them. Of course, the werewolves are CG, so that's kind of They do have a scene in the airport where there is some physical transformation going on, and I do give them kudos for that, because I didn't think they were going to go there. I figured most of it would be the CG werewolves, and then maybe some contact lenses, maybe some fangs or something like that, and then one shot where it's like a person going "Ugh!" Look away, next shot where they've got contact lenses on and fangs, "Ugh!" And then CG werewolf. But no, they did some things where, I mean, they're not spectacular, but they had fur and stuff, and it is what it is. So yeah, the CG is everywhere. Explosions, military vehicles, planes, helicopters, that kind of stuff, missiles, whatever, smoke, fire. So yeah, it does give it that cheesy, low-budget look, but that's what the Asylum is. But give it credit. They must have put a little bit more money behind this, because we get actual car crashes. We get a lot of people, a lot of extras, a lot of, there's a lot of people being, it's shot in it's New York that gets infected, so you can imagine how many people and stuff would be involved in that. An airport, I think it's JFK Airport that's supposed to be infected, though it's not shot at JFK Airport. Yeah, it's one of those films where it's not gonna really win over people. This isn't something that you give to your mainstream audience and they're like, oh, I love the Asylum. No, this is not. This is for people who love those low budget schlocky movies, those ones that are, it's clearly not going to be a great film, but you still love them anyways. You know who you are. You know who you are. This is one of the better ones. I'd say, quality film, 2 out of 5. I'm not going to give it a recommend unless you are into the Asylum films and such. If you're into Z Nation, the television show that they do, this isn't zombies, but I think you will probably be a fan of this film, because it's werewolves instead of zombies, but it's very, very similar in style and feel. But yeah, the Asylum has come a long way since their beginnings, and yeah, some films that look like they tried to essentially make them with spending nothing. This one looks like they put something behind it. They put something behind the effects. They put something behind the amount of actors and extras and sets and sceneries. So yeah, I am surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised. I enjoyed this film. For what it was. For what it was, I enjoyed it. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, this is not your mainstream Hollywood film. It's just not. I wish the Asylum all the best, because they keep putting out genre films, and essentially these are the new, what would have been considered video store rental. You know, they are the new Full Moon, if you will, the new Trauma. The stuff they put out there is filling those shelves, even though they don't exist anymore. The shelves don't exist anymore. They're filling that video on demand. So whenever you look at, you know, your video on demands, and you're like, of course, Netflix is doing their own thing. They're filling their own shelves. But if you, say, have one of the other services and you're looking at it, it's like a new sci-fi film or a new horror film sort of pops up, and you're just like, I've never even heard of this. Chances are that's because it's from the Asylum. So, yeah, if you're into that thing, Battledogs, check it out. Probably be pleasantly surprised, just like I was. It was fun. That's about it. Anyways, more 31 Days of Horror to come. More crazy, scary dolls. And more terribly, terribly shot video reviews. But that's what it is. And you love it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know down below if you saw Battledogs. Keep it spoiler free as always. Love to hear from you. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.